You're listening to another episode of Mr. Allard's Neighborhood. This is the place where you're entitled to Brad's opinion. And now for your host, Brad Allard.
All right. Today is a day that all baseball fans love to hear those words, opening day. It's the opening day for the Cleburne Railroaders. And I have Goodell here who's handling their marketing and part of the management team. And are you the lady that trades the players or moves them around or whatever else?
I do not. Thankfully, that one is not one of my long list of responsibilities.
Right. But you've been in baseball more than just a couple of months, though. I mean, we're going to talk about your background a little bit and also about the Railroaders themselves because they're under new management and they're making a much more overt attempt, if you will, to market themselves. Not that the previous owners didn't, but I've noticed y'all's presence in the community a lot more this season than most past seasons. And a lot of people in Burleson area here really enjoy the Cleburne Railroaders because it's old-fashioned baseball, and it's like what we remember when we were kids, you know, and because when a lot of communities had minor league teams and whatnot, we used to go to them because, you know, big leagues, you know, they're far away. And then about the 70s, we started getting some expansion. I was 11 years old when the Rangers came in to Texas, so I've been there since ground zero. So, and I'm going to ask you about, you know, the overflow from the Rangers World Series and if it's affected you all any, or positively, I'd imagine. But first, let's talk about the sponsors because they make this possible. I bet you know some of these. Do you live in the Burleson area, I assume?
Yeah, I live in Burleson, actually right down the street from our place.
Okay. So you already know this place. All right. Our place is, it's one of our best sponsors. They're all our best sponsors. What am I saying? It's like my children. I love them all equally. But our place, of course, I'm sure you've been there. Everybody's been to our place. Have you been to Gina's yet? He's opened that up as well.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Yeah. I mean, I have a lot of favorites, but
well, we do too. But Gina's now, as of yesterday, are now open for lunch on Wednesdays through Sundays. So that's a good thing. They opened up, and I think they were overwhelmed with the response. I mean, they were out the door, and now they got more staff. They got more trained staff, I guess, and so now they're going to be open for lunch. And that's always a great thing. So our place and Gina's, and check them out. Also, Wild Cigar. Have you ever been here before by any chance?
I have. I've gone there a few times.
Really? Great. You like cigars or is it for the drinks or whatnot? Or the
a little of both. They have their mixologist is phenomenal. So I can't say I just go for the cigars anymore.
Do you smoke cigars yourself?
Sometimes we do celebrations and when we make the playoffs and win some rings, I definitely participate.
How about that? All right. Wild Cigar and Culture over at the Standard. They're also very good community people. All of the sponsors are. I'm very proud of my sponsors. I really am because they're not just good business people, but they're good community people. They constantly are contributing to a lot of the nonprofit events like Next Step Women's Center, which is what we'll be talking about as well as their event tomorrow night. But Wild Cigar and Culture over on the Standard. Also, we have Tiffany Nico with Local Life Magazine. They go to 30,000 homes all over the county, and so that's a really good advertisement. So we have the new magazine came out last week, but also have locallifetx.com if you want to check out what's going on more recently. So check that out. Also, thank you to Standard, I'm reading the wrong thing, Southern Gym, sorry, the jewelry store right next to the American Revelry, Southern Gym. You ever go here by any chance?
I haven't made it there yet. I do love jewelry, so I'm going to have to stop soon.
You'd ask for my wife. There's two Robins that work there. I just ask for one of the Robins, and she'll probably be the one that helps you. My wife has been working there for a couple of years now, and they had a very successful Kentucky Derby Day party where they raised a lot of money for Wings of Hope, a local equine therapy group located kind of in that no man's land between Joshua, Cleburne, and Burleson. Yeah, it's really, you've heard of it before by chance?
I've actually been out there before. They're also one of our charities that we work with here at the ballpark. So I love Teresa, and the whole facility is amazing. She
was on the show a week ago Monday, and I was educated in what equine therapy does. And so it was a really great thing, and I'm going to have them on again. It was a great show because I learned a lot about what equine therapy could do for people with all sorts of issues, if you will, not just autistic children. Tuesday had the Center for Autism on, and they use equine therapy quite a bit, but also PTSD, people that are maybe, can't walk and they want to still participate and things of that nature. So it's a great outfit. Also, thank you to Two Maids Cleaning, twomaidcleaning.com/Burleson, or 817-764-0733. It's Mother's Day Sunday, and what a great gift to drop on her. Tell mom that you're going to give her a deep cleaning, or that you've hooked them up for a routine every 2 weeks, or whatever schedule you could figure out. A lot of these people are in a networking group I'm in, and a lot of us use two maids for our parents, and it's because a lot of us are at that age, and so we are looking forward to hopefully getting mom a nice Mother's Day gift, and that works out really well. So call Brenda at 817-764-0733. Also, Old Pro Roofing here in Burleson, John Williams, 817-734-2756. Supposedly, I'm still skeptical. The weather's not supposed to. You get these warnings and nothing ever happens, So I'm sure y'all are keeping a close eye on the weather. So anyway, play ball is what I'd say. You got to play ball. So I don't think the weather's going to be an issue tonight, but because I'm a weather agnostic, as people around here know. I don't believe it till I see it. So 817-734-2756. Also, thank you to Sammy Campbell and Kenny Gow at Camco Mortgage. If you're looking to refinance or finance for the first time, these are the people you want to talk to. 817-778-4592, 817-925-2661. We'll get you either one of those two ladies, and they'll help you with all your mortgage. They're here in town, right across the street from Fish City. So there you are. So call Sammy or call Candy, and they'll get you set up. And our newest sponsor, Jeff Kelly, at jeffkellyrealty.com, 817-781-0546 will get you what you need, and 817-720-6300 will get you Jeff. And so he sells real estate all over Johnson County, so he can help you out with that. All right, let's get to you. All right, so you said this new management came in July, and you came in a little bit after that. Where were you before?
I was with the Rocky Mountain Vibes in Colorado for the last 2 seasons.
Really? And are you native to Texas?
No, I say I'm from all over. I've moved around the entire country for baseball for the last 8 years now. College, I was doing internships around the country, and then have been in the minor league system for forever now.
So, hang on. There you just cut out for a second. Anyway, so you went to college to do this. It's interesting because everybody, particularly a lot of us, younger, want to work for a baseball team, if not play right field or something like that. So, where did you go to school?
Yeah, I went to Coastal Carolina, right in Myrtle Beach. I went for sport and recreation management. The
Chanticleers, yes. My wife's family has a lot of family around that area, so around the Myrtle Beach area. So, Taylor, I keep fading in and out on the sound. Is there something I'm not doing? Can you hear me okay?
You're good.
I can hear you.
It might be your headphone connection.
Well, now I can't hear her very well.
I'll give you.
Sorry, we're having a little bit of issue here.
Keep going. I'll give you new headphones.
Okay, it's probably the headphones are shorting. But anyway, they could hear you on the air. That's the important thing. So you went to Coastal Carolina to do this, and then you start moving around like a lot of people in the baseball profession do. You have to learn where the U-Haul place is, I bet, and that kind of thing. And go from town to town. So you went to Colorado, and then how did the railroaders contact you?
Yeah. So the short end of the stick is my boss in Colorado, Chris Jones. He's been a general manager in the minor league baseball league and sports in general for 20, 30 plus years now. He's been my boss up there for the last 2 years. When he took the offer from Rev Entertainment to come down here and work with the railroaders, I said, "Hey, I'm coming with you," and kind of inserted myself and said that let's go. And so once the season ended last year, I packed up and I moved on down here.
And still, we're trading headphones here. I don't know if y'all can see it, but anyway, so how do you like it here in Texas?
I love it. This last week, I'm a little worried about the heat come August because it's been hot for me, but it's amazing here. The people here are amazing. The community, they've just welcomed me so immensely, and it's been great.
Well, this is a good area though to live in particular in Texas. This Johnson County area, Burleson area, Cleburne, there's a lot of good people here, and a lot of good people that work for nonprofits and other organizations to help the community. So you landed in a good place because I have the privilege of talking to a lot of these outfits here, the nonprofit groups, which you are sponsoring Next Step Women's Center tomorrow night. They It is amazing, really. It is. And not every community has the kind of support for these kind of events. Now, as far as the railroaders themselves, they are, like I just mentioned, they're doing an event tomorrow night. It sounds like y'all are doing more than just Next Step Women's Center, because I've talked to a couple of other people that said, yeah, we got a night coming up as well. So tell us all about this outreach that y'all are doing.
Yeah, so we've started a lot of new community initiatives when I came down here, just getting ready for the season. But the nonprofit spotlight is my favorite. Every single game, we have one charity spotlight that we honor at the game with a first pitch, pregame ceremony. They're able to take the mic, honor someone however they want, volunteers, clients, all of those things with a first pitch for pregame. We set them up with a fundraiser so they get a portion of ticket sales for that night. And then they also get a marketing table and ad space throughout the ballpark for that game. So they're able to connect with all of our fans that come to the game.
Did they contact you or vice versa? You go to them?
So to start it and kick it off, I reached out to a few. Megan with Next Step was one that I had met through Rotary, actually. And that was a great connection. But it is available on our website to apply. There are only maybe 10 games left this season that are still available for nonprofits, but it's right on the website for them to sign up and get connected with me to join us.
That's interesting because I've known Megan and her family for a long, long time, like I mentioned with Todd Barham. But I've known Megan, I'm a former school teacher, so Megan was in my class and all this business, but I taught with her mother. But that's one of my favorites because they've been around a while and they do a lot of really good work. And I'm really glad that y'all are hooked up with them. And I'm sure other community organizations have contacted you or vice versa, like the Harvest House. Have you contacted with them here in town?
Yeah. We've gone and volunteered at Harvest House a few months back. The team is hoping to get on the schedule this summer to volunteer there themselves. Wings of Hope, we've talked about, Center for ASD.
Yes.
I think we've probably hit most of them up there in Burleson.
How about Crazy Eights?
Yes. So their night is actually July 4th. That one's going to be really fun.
Oh, well, they picked a nice day. That's a great day to go to a baseball game. It's nothing more American than that. Yeah, I'm sure you'll have fireworks and the whole 9 yards and things of that nature. And I'm very privileged because I know most of these groups and they're on fairly routinely and boy, they do good work. And I'm really glad y'all are helping them out because the need is great. We can hear all about, how well or so the economy's doing, but we are having high demand for their services, quite a bit for the food pantries and for housing and for pregnancy services and all this. So we're a growing community. I've lived here since 91, and so I've seen Burleson quite a bit change. And I've seen Cleburne change. I mean, the only time we ever went to Cleburne is get our driver's license, that kind of thing. Now it's growing, and you got all that business going on by the tollway, and it's going to be great. And you have a very nice stadium. I mean, that is a good stadium for the kind of baseball we're watching here. So I guess you get free tickets, huh? You get to go to every game.
Yep, I'm here every game. I actually kind of run around and help run the show. So anything fans see or experience, I have a hand in creating that. From social media to the billboards on the highway to all of the fun theme nights, music, games, everything you guys experience. We kind of create.
Yeah, but you're not really involved with acquisition of players and things like that, are you?
No, okay. So that's kind of one of the only things that I don't have a hand on. Our manager, Pete Incaviglia, is building an incredible roster this year that's releasing actually in the next hour for opening day.
I'm sorry. I'm sure they told you he's a former Ranger, but I remember him when he came. I mean, I was living in Texas, living in Arlington when he came in I believe 1987, and he came in and started slamming the ball around. And so, I mean, he was a fan favorite. And so when I heard that Incaviglia was going to be, or Inky as we called him then, I don't know if they still call him that, but when I heard that Pete Incaviglia was going to be the manager, I thought, wow, that's really interesting because, I mean, he was part of some of those late 80s Rangers teams that were pretty exciting. They scored a lot of runs and they gave up a lot of runs. So, you got your money's worth if you like offense. So it was, that was really, I thought was great. I wonder how he likes, the Cleburne area, but I do know he lived in Arlington for quite some time. I used to run into him at the local Albertsons with his family, and I'd say, oh, it's Pete Incaviglia, and his thanks for watching kind of thing. What are you going to say to some stranger? You don't want to, he was like, thank you, and all this other stuff. So, but
he is one of the most kind, giving back managers that I've ever worked with. He is so eager and willing to jump into the community. He volunteered with us with Meals on Wheels last week. Anytime that we want him out in the community, he loves to give back. He loves this area. He loves Cleburne. He loves the team. And he does. He brings a lot to the table. His Rangers background is huge, but his connections from his time in sports and his experience as a coach is just phenomenal for our team and our players.
Well, he was known for that here too, as a Ranger. A lot of these guys lived in the Arlington area, several, and he came up with a group of guys that when his rookie year, he was like one of 4 new players, rookies, or guys right up from the minors and stuff like that. I think he skipped the minors mostly, and so it was really like a changing of the guard when he came in, and it was fun to watch because they, like I said, they were slamming the ball around, and he was playing along with Steve Bouchel, who's also a local celebrity here on the TV for baseball games and whatnot. So that was a lot of fun. So now, as far as the baseball itself, though, these players, how do they get on the team? Do they come to you? You go to them, or a little of both?
A little of both. Some have agents. Pete does a lot of work with other managers and other teams, just knowing and being involved in that community. It's a really easy network for him to kind of call up a guy one day and say, hey, we want to come see you, come try out, come down, do a workout with us. But we just finished up yesterday our week of spring training. We get about a week with the roster, making some cuts, final changes, and all of those just to build and round out the team going into the season.
It's not like somebody, some young kid to say, I want to play baseball, and he'll show up with his glove and say, hey, give me a tryout, coach. It's probably a little bit more to it than that, right? But where would you find these guys? Are they getting scouted like while they're playing high school ball, or maybe community college level baseball or whatever else?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of looking around at where guys have been playing for the last few years. Guys are getting released from the minor league baseball system. We're watching that. He's tracking it. He's saying, "Oh, this guy was released last week. We really want to pick him up, give him a call." Scouts do reach out, agents, and all of those things. So it does work both ways a lot.
That's interesting because every boy's dream, and probably a lot of young ladies' dreams now, is to go play professional sports. And just to, pick up their glove or their bat and show up, and they hit the ball out of the park and say, sign that kid up, and that kind of stuff. But it's not, but I didn't think it was quite that informal, but still it sounds like sometimes these players just kind of fall in your lap, and you're fortunate to have them. And also the reputation of the team probably leads to that. If the Cleburne Railroaders are well known in this area, so I bet you'll get a lot of calls.
Yes, especially once we announced our manager, that did lead a lot of players across the country and even outside of the country reaching out, asking for a chance to speak with Pete and a chance to try out and a chance to join the team. So even on the fan front and the team front, everyone wants to be here in Cleburne.
Well, I'm not surprised because it is a growing area. It is well supported by the community. I mean, most games are sold out, aren't they, or close to it? I mean, it's
this week alone, almost every day. So it's going to be really exciting.
I haven't been to a game that hasn't had, if it weren't sold out, it was 90% or better. I mean, there wasn't very many empty seats. And what I also liked about the baseball is it was kind of the casual atmosphere from it. It's like I'm watching the game with a couple of buddies. I'm sitting right behind Todd this one particular game, and I'm looking over to the left, and on this berm over in the foul area on left field, there's kids playing, and running around, and it's just a neighborhood thing. And as far as affordability, it was great, because it's good baseball. And as much as I love the Rangers, going to a Ranger game takes some effort. There's parking and there's expense, and then there's all this other stuff. But this was it was much more fan convenient, shall we say? That's a good way to put it. Because it was just a very comfortable atmosphere. Nobody's getting all worked up. In a lot of cases, I did not know the other team. You have teams from other areas, so it wasn't like high tense moments and all this other stuff. It's just fun. And that's the best word I'd say for y'all. It's a fun atmosphere. Y'all really done well in making that happen.
Yeah, it's our goal, and I've heard nothing but great things about people who have attended our games in the past, which gets me even more excited for this year because we've taken that and we've 10 times, 100 times jumped up the gun on how we're presenting our game day. Today alone, it's a huge, huge celebration. We have a new fun zone for kids out in where that old basketball hoop used to be. There's so many new things in the ballpark this season that It is. It's all family and fun focused. And if you don't even pay that much attention to the game or don't know anything about the other team, that's what is important to me. I love baseball. I'm a traditional baseball fan, but I do always say, if you go to a game and you can't tell me a single thing that went on the field, but you had the best time of your life because of X, Y, and Z, then I did my job.
Well, I do both because I am a big baseball fan. Of all the professional sports, baseball is my favorite. You know, I like the college sports quite a bit, but I prefer Major League Baseball over the NFL or any other sport. And so, but, you know, I know, you know, my kids are much grown, time grown, but I remember taking kids to the ball game back when the Rangers were playing in either Globe Life or even when they were playing back in, you know, the old stadium. And taking small children to the ball game, you know, to a major league game, you know, it's kind of tough because they don't care. They're sitting there and they try to keep them in the seat. But I like the fact that the kids, it was a safe enough environment. They could say, go play with your buddies. And it was just a comfortable atmosphere. And they could go run around a little bit, burn off some juice, and I can watch the ball game, you know. And that's a good deal, and that's what you're striving for, I'm quite sure.
Yeah, and then this year too, we're just blessed to have an incredible roster. It's one of the most impressive rosters I've gotten to work with, and I'm just excited to see him take the field finally.
Well, tell us which players we should be looking out for.
Yeah, we've got a few returners this year. Everyone loves Hill and Casey and Brett and Blaze. They're coming back this year, but we've got a lot of new guys that have come from other teams, other league. A lot of MLB debut experience on our team this year. So honestly, every guy on the team is pretty key to this roster.
Okay, so y'all, as a marketing team, do y'all focus on a player like the Rangers? You know, they push Seager and Simeon and all those. Do y'all do that as well?
Not as heavy as we do those things. I think a couple the community does really connect with our guys because they're going out, they're volunteering every homestand in the community. They are making those connections. So they do play a lot of everything. They mean a lot to a lot of players. I think the guys that came back this year, a lot of people are excited for, and there's even more new people that they're going to get excited about. And we just kind of see who gels with the community the most.
What general age range are your players?
Yeah, kind of all over the board. You see just graduated from college kids at a lot of mid-20s to early 30s and up.
And do they all pursue a dream to be in the major leagues, or are someone just because they enjoy baseball that much, that's what they'd rather be doing? Or a little both?
No, they all have a lot of heart. They all want to be here. They all work so hard and show up so much earlier than call time to just get some extra reps in and practice and do the best that they can because they love the game. They love being here. They love playing. They do want to be in the show. Of course, I think that's probably everybody's dream.
Right.
Some have been there before and just want to work their way back up. And some haven't been there yet and want to get there. It's,
you know, everybody thinks of minor league baseball. They think of Bull Durham and things like that. But I don't know if y'all are quite that rowdy. But still, you know, a lot of these guys, don't they have jobs in the community, or maybe their wives do?
Yeah. I mean, they have outside of the season, if they're not on a team working year round, that they do. They pick up some side jobs and some gigs. I've worked with teachers in the that are in the off season and a slew of just other kind of jobs, real estate. They're just doing things to make it so they can keep on playing and living their dream. Well,
I was talking to a couple of longtime fans the last time I was there, and they were talking about, well, this guy, you know, in the off season works like at a local hardware store kind of thing. And this one right here, his wife's a nurse. And this one over here, this guy, he works as a substitute teacher and things like that. And so, you know, it isn't like the majors where, you know, they don't have to work off season. But I think that really is what endears minor league teams to their communities, because they're part of them. You know, it's not like when you're rooting for the Rangers, you know, they seem like great guys, but I haven't met them, and I doubt I ever will. But these guys, you know, they're right there, you know, and you can go to, you know, deal with them personally. And I think that's a really important thing about what y'all do for the community. Because you give Cleburne an identity, because, you know, besides being the county seat, no one, like I mentioned earlier, in the olden days, we didn't go to Cleburne, you know. But because you new here, you know, the only thing that got everybody excited was the Burleson Cleburne high school football game every year.
Yeah,
you know, and now it's like the Railroaders are giving Cleburne an identity, and it's
and we love the community here, not just in Cleburne and in Johnson, Tarrant County, Hood County. We love being a part. And I think we are trying to be integral and connecting everyone together. So you all come here and have a great time. We do city nights throughout the season, the charities throughout the season, a lot of different things that just connect every single person in the area.
What league do you play in?
So we are in the American Association of Professional Baseball. We're an MLB partnership league team.
Right.
So we're one of the 3 leagues that are designated as an MLB partner. And it's that's a huge designation for us. We have connections and guidance from MLB, and it really does, on both the marketing side as well as the player side, add a lot of appeal to being a part of this organization.
Do you ever see the Railroaders being part of a major league team system like Frisco and Round Rock with the Rangers? Is that a goal, or is that really not something you prefer, this independent status?
Honestly, there's perks to both, but being an MLB partner team and then the American Association, it's amazing. It's a sweet spot. You get a lot of freedom to just run through and expand on that marketing side as much as possible. But a lot of player development is happening here, and that's just amazing to be a part of.
Yeah, Frisco, of course, you're familiar with the Rangers AA team. I have some friends that live up there, and they go to those games. And they say, they really enjoy them. I think minor league baseball for a while kind of faded, but the last decade or so, it's really picked up a lot, and particularly with the Railroaders. I mean, how long have the Railroaders been in Cleburne? It's about 8 years, something like that?
Yeah, so the team formally came back in 2017. We have some really deep history back all the way to 1906 and 1908 when they won those championship games. So there is a lot of history here, but this stadium, this ballpark itself, was 2017 was our comeback, and just been growing ever since.
Well, and the old timers, which I'm getting to be one, they remember, minor league teams, and that you'd have a lot of barnstormers that would come through and play. And it was there, we didn't have a professional baseball team in this area until 1971. And most of the fans around here, like my grandfather, they were Cardinal fans because they could pick up the games on the radio. And then and the Astros came in, but that's Houston, and we don't do much with Houston. So, but as far as minor leagues, we used to have the Fort Worth Cats in LaGrave Field here, and they tried to revive that. And I don't think it lasted that long, but for a long time, the Fort Worth Cats, they were known for putting guys in the majors, Hall of Famers played at LaGrave Field. So that's, maybe one day they'll say that about y'all's field. You think?
Yeah, and that's the goal, is to get these players on to the next level. I know going into this season, one of our guys already got signed, and we expect to see a lot of that happening this year with the roster we've built.
So you said that Major League Baseball scouts come to the Railroaders. And so if they see somebody they like, they come to y'all and say, we want to pick up his contract, right? Or something along those lines. And I'm sure y'all are glad to help him out, but I guess you'd be sad to see when your better players leave. But that's what they're there for, right? Is to be picked up by the majors.
No, I mean, like, as much as we want to win every single game, and I think we have the roster to do that. Once we start doing that and these guys start putting out all of their hard work and we all see it, they're going to get picked up and move on. And then we find some new guys to help develop and move on to that level as well. So we do have a lot of transactions kind of throughout the year. That's typical in our level. For an exciting reason at the end of the day.
But that's interesting, though, because, like I was talking to a couple of the fans, the older fans, they said, well, this guy, he was part of the, one of the major league rosters and whatnot. Or this guy was part of this particular farm system or whatever else. And they would come in and they rehabilitate their careers. And sometimes they get picked up. One of the players, I forget his name, I'm afraid, but I found out about 2 days after I saw him, it's Tampa. The Rays that picked him up. Yep. And it was like, wow, that's pretty interesting. I mean, did they put him on the major league roster? No, he's probably went to their AA team, but still, he's got a foot in the door, right? And y'all make that happen. Yeah.
This is the first step to get you to the next level. This is where it starts, and it's baseball in your backyard, and from there, the show.
Well, you sent us a little clip here for tonight's game, right?
Yeah, we created a really fun hype video. Our marketing team here that I work with is phenomenal. And they created a really fun, exciting video just to get you excited for tonight's game.
Taylor, you want to run that for us, please?
This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of the annual purge. May God be with you all.
Y'all made that, did you?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We get the team on May 1st, and that's our first day of the spring training season. And so we get as much content as we can on that day and spend the next week up until today building it out until we can finally get live in-game content, and we'll make new stuff.
Well, how many games do the Railroaders play in the course of a season?
100 games regular season, so 50 home, and then there's about 2 weeks of playoffs right after.
Right. And who are your big rivals, so to speak?
Yeah, so we're actually the only team in our league in Texas, so we've got a little bit of drive to get most places. We play Kansas City. That's always a fun one. They actually are hosting the All-Star game this year, so we'll get a chance to go up there, and first time for me to check it out. We kick off with Winnipeg this week, so we're the lowest team, and Winnipeg's the highest team if you look at a map.
That's a long drive, because do y'all fly or take the bus?
We have a nice bus, and then sometimes some of the guys kind of opt to fly if they would like. If I go, I might probably do the plane option, but
Winnipeg's a long drive.
It's a good bonding experience on the bus.
Yeah, you think of Bill Durham and they're all horsing around on the bus and all this other stuff. But when y'all go on a road trip, it's not like 3 games and then you're back. I mean, it's a while, isn't it?
Yeah, no, these guys, we have limited off days built into the season. And those days are spent on a bus. They are working so incredibly hard, and they do so well for the stress. I've rode the bus one time on a 10-hour drive, and I think I was not functional for at least a day or two, but they get up and play a game the next day.
Well,
so it's incredible what they can do.
I don't know if I could do that either, because 10-hour bus drive. But you say Kansas City is one of your opponents. Whom else do y'all play?
Yeah, we've got the Gary Railcat,
up in Indiana.
Gold Eyes. Yep. Yeah. So a lot of teams are kind of central around Chicago. I feel like, just looking at the map, the Chicago Dogs are in there. There's another one out there that's just close, and I can't think of it.
Isn't there one? I thought there was one in Wisconsin, but I may be mistaken.
Not this league.
Okay, maybe I have a different team in mind. But so when you go on a road trip, though, it isn't like you go to like Gary and then you come right back. I mean, you probably hit all those areas, teams as best you can. So that's why your road trips are so long, because it's not like flying back and forth like they do in the majors or whatnot. You have to not just economize, but also make it more efficient for you to go to a bunch of games in one area. So your home stands are longer, and your road trips are longer. And so,
we'll do 6-game homestands about every other week this season. I think we have a pretty, our schedule is really great. I like it. Other than July, we play at home every other week. In July, we're home almost the entire month with one short off stand out there. But yes, when teams come down here, we play 6 straight games with them. Whereas when we're on the road, we might hit 2 teams and do 2 3-game series.
Well, on my screen here, I don't know if you could see it. It's Megan Hollowell says hello, and she likes my shirt, since this is the shirt they're using to advertise. So let's hit that a little bit about the nonprofits. So you mentioned you do, these. You're going to do a bunch of them. What would somebody expect when they come to a game?
Yeah. It's really exciting. You walk in the gates, things are going on. Our nonprofits are going to be right up front and center, able to catch every fan coming in. So that's really great. Megan and Next Step is actually the first nonprofit spotlight that we are going to have this season tomorrow night. So I'm really, really excited to be working them and have them out. Once we get into our pregame show, they're down on the field. They have that chance to honor with a first pitch ceremony, say anything they'd like. We run advertisements for them. So many things go on in our pregame, but it's one of my favorite pieces that we have.
Well, I know they're excited. They were here on the show, 2.5 weeks ago, roughly, and they're all really excited because they really work hard, and this kind of publicity, this kind of notice, really makes their jobs a little bit easier, and it's a hard job. So I'm really glad that y'all are doing all these things. How else do y'all market yourselves?
Community standpoint wise, we have a reading program where we have gone to dozens and dozens of schools. I can't even keep track anymore, but I think we're at just about 10,000 kids that we've read to via players and our mascot. And they all get a bookmark where they read 4 books. They turn it in for a ticket to any game at our ballpark. Our kids club is free this year. So every Sunday game, they get a free ticket. They get to run the bases after the game. They get to play in our brand new fun zone every game. We do volunteer work. Our players will do 2 service outings every month. In the off season, our staff does that, and that one's really fun. Of course, our nonprofit spotlight of every game. We do a really huge donation program that's also available on our website if you're looking for donations for silent auctions, events you have coming up, sponsorships, things like that. We love to give back in those ways. We have Home Plate Project here 4 times a year where we do one of those drive-up food drives where we've done that for years, and we've donated over 1 million pounds.
1 million pounds.
It's crazy. Yeah. And then each individual drive, we give out about 350 to 400 families worth of food to people.
Well, that's like I mentioned earlier, that's becoming more and more of a need because we have.
It is. Yeah.
Several food pantries around here. We're about a block away from the Crowley House of Hope, and their shelves are a little bit skimpy right now, and it's not because people aren't giving. I've had them on the show. It says, are people just not giving as much as them? They're giving as much as they ever have. It's just the demand is that high. Same thing with the Joshua folks. They have theirs, and we have 2 main ones here. Of course, Harvest House, but also Promises Community, which is attached to our First Baptist Church here. And I know something about that because that's my church. And so, and I talked to those people, and they're saying, well, you come in the morning and the shelves are sort of okay, and then you come in after a day and they're pretty bare sometimes. So I really appreciate it as a citizen of this area, what y'all are doing, because I know the need is there. As far as this season coming on, how much normally are tickets? I mean, I'm sure you have all sorts of plans and things of that nature, but what's a normal ticket range for y'all?
Yeah, there are discount nights, different things going on every night. So there is always an affordable element. General tickets typically start at $12 and goes all the way up depending on suites, our private new picnic plaza that we have this year, our dugout suite that we have down on the field. There's so many different outlets and options here at the ballpark, but our base ticket starts at $12.
Yeah, and in that stadium, it's always a good seat. Even if you bought the cheapest ticket there, you're still right there on the field with seeing the action. It isn't like in some stadiums you buy the cheap seat, you're practically in the next county. I mean, you're right there. But you mentioned these suites and the dugout suites. These are these owned or leased rather maybe by ticket holders, or is this something like a group of who wants to have like an outing, a company, a church, or whatever? Can they lease these from you?
Yeah, they are all available for groups to come out for the night and just experience the game. The dugout suite is one of my favorites because you are right there. You're in an actual dugout, and then you also have the nice patio area behind the batting circle. So you're really in the action. Our suites, most of them actually are sold out for the season, but we do have a few nights left for you to bring out your group, your company, different things like that. And then our new picnic plaza that we have down the third baseline, that one's awesome. You have a private bar, private restrooms. You have wonderful seating and a tent out there just to stay out of the sun if you need. That's one of our newest areas. And it already, before people really get a chance to see it, is being sold to groups immensely.
Because I was thinking you mentioned suites, and I'm thinking I could think of 2 or 3 groups that I'm involved in that would really enjoy, may having one of those suites for a night out or something like that. Most of the games are at night, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So all of our games are first pitch 7, gates open at 6. The May Sundays, well, it's still a little bit cool. We start at 3 o'clock. And then our other Sundays are at 6 o'clock first pitch. We're really fortunate to have 2-day games this year. This actual May 14th, Tuesday, is an 11 a.m. STEM day. So we actually sold out to all of the schools in the area. We have over 2,000 kids coming to the ballpark and over 15 organizations and museums setting up interactive learning stations for the students. So it's just a huge, huge educational game that we have going on.
Wow. I don't remember the Railroaders doing that much. I mean, I know they marketed, but as far as all these events, these your ideas you put into place?
It's definitely a team effort. I've been in marketing for years in baseball and I've learned a lot of things, learned of what worked. And then we also see new trends. We see things other teams are doing and we incorporate that into our script. And I learned community and the school system and education is super important here. I wanted to expand on that for the community, give back as much as we can, do as much as we can for our education systems. And it seems to be working. Well,
no, I'm just very, very impressed. The fact that y'all are so enthusiastic, I guess is the only word I can think of, in your marketing, and so active, because I don't know if a lot of other teams will do that, but y'all have definitely. And I'm really glad you'll reach out to the schools. Being a former school teacher, I'm very partial. And at the end of the show, I'm going to impose upon you, let me promote next week's shows, because all three deal with education in the Burleson area. But it's really, really interesting. I'm going to go back to the sweets thing for a minute. I'm going to drop it off. I'm in a networking group tonight. I'm going to drop that idea off tonight and say, hey, we got to look into this, because what's the expense of a suite?
Yeah. So it really depends on kind of food options. Typically you see it around $900 for the night. But you get that beverage service up there. You get a suite attendant, you get the AC, you get the TVs. Our suites, I think, are one of the most amazing setups they have, because you are over the stands and like you're right on the field. That net is close to you because you're basically in the game. You're right in the action, and it's awesome.
That's kind of what I thought it cost roughly. I thought it cost around $1,000, and so it sounds like it's a pretty good bargain, to tell you the truth. If you could have all that, all the joys of baseball without the heat, that's a big deal here. I don't know about your previous stop in Colorado if you had to deal with the heat, but baseball and the heat. I'm glad you'll play night games, because the Rangers have to play Sunday afternoons, and before they had Globe Life and those closed stadium, they were playing in the open air. Boy, it could get hot in the afternoons, sitting out there in the outfield. So I'm glad y'all do night games.
Yep. I've made a couple of jokes this week, because I've been outside a majority of the time, that August is going to be rough for me. It's been pretty hot and brutal for me this week. So
really?
I'm excited to experience it, but it's going to be something.
Well, if you went to school in South Carolina, you're familiar with humidity and heat. So, but it's still, July, August, and September are hard, even on us old Texans. I mean, we like to think we're really tough, but some days we've had some summers that it's been pretty brutal. But I'm glad you're doing night games, because it will take away from some of that. Okay, we're coming kind of close to the end here. Tell us whatever you'd like for us to know about the Cleburne Railroaders. Kind of like, it's almost like you're making a commercial. Okay.
Yeah. Every single night is different, from dollar hot dog night, firework Fridays. Every Saturday is a different theme and a giveaway. Our giveaways this year are incredible. Sundays, again, those kids free days, drink special nights, salute to hero nights. We really do have it all. It's baseball in your backyard. We're fun. We're family affordable. And there's so much going on all season long. The tickets are available at railroaderbaseball.com. You can DM our social media channels, that goes directly to me, and I'd be happy to help you guys out with anything.
Well, thank you for what you do, not just for the baseball, because as an old fan, I love it, but what you do for the community. That means as much or more to us, because we're very proud of this community, and we really appreciate people that do things for the community. Not just for publicity, which is always fine, but also because they want to be good partners. They want to be good citizens. And that's a really great thing. If you don't mind, I want to go ahead. Sorry.
I just want to say this community has been so welcoming, and I know I've only been here about 6 or 7 months now, but it truly feels like family. And that's why I have loved being able to implement all of these community elements and be able to give back and work with them all, because y'all have really treated me like family.
Well, I'd like to have you on the show again. Next time, hopefully we can have you on in the studio. I know we picked a very busy day for you. This date may have not been the most convenient, but I appreciate you making the time for us. If you don't mind, I'd like to promote for next week's shows as well, and a couple other things. We have some nonprofit stuff coming up. But next week on Monday, I have our former state senator, who is part of this committee that I'm also part of, called Burleson Opportunity Fund. The Burleson Opportunity Fund is a fund here in town. If you graduate from a Burleson high school, they'll pay for the first 2 years of your associate's degree at Hill College, which I also teach at. Being a former educator, I still teach at Hill and Dallas Baptist here in the community. And so that's a really great deal. We have a golf tournament coming up on the 7th of June over at Hidden Creek, $600 for a foursome. We have plenty of foursomes left, so we need to fill those up. So contact us. If you need to get information, Phil Anderson, whom everybody knows here, Councilman Phil Anderson, 817-456-5613, or Kayla Hoffman, who works over at Sierra Bank, It's I'm sorry, glare on the screen here. 785-215-4840. Also next week, I mentioned the Burleson Opportunity Fund, but Beverly Powell will be here on. She will be here Monday, and we're going to talk about the Burleson Opportunity Fund on Tuesday. I have our state representative, Dwayne Burns. Have you ever met him by any chance? He's from the Cleburne area, and he's our state rep here. And he's running for.
Yes, I have. He is actually throwing the first pitch tomorrow.
Is that well? I'm glad to hear it because he's under a bit of an onslaught here in the advertisements. But I'll save the politics for then. But it's still he's a good guy and he's a good representative, and he'll be on Tuesday, and then Thursday I have representatives from our local high school, Burleson ISD, and they work with the fine arts department. So I have those kind of shows on as much as I can. So that's always a good thing. I really appreciate you making time. I know it's a busy day. And guys out there, you have some comments on the screen. I don't know if you can see them or not. Cody O'Brien. Do you know Cody O'Brien by any chance? He does a blog here in town. Well, he does a blog here in town, the Burleson Buzz, as they call it. He and Ashton Nix, who both have commented. These guys need to contact you because they like to do sports reporting as well as what's going on in the city council or city events and things like that. And it's a good publicity vehicle for you. And I'm sure they'll be glad to hook up with you on that because they do a really good job. And it's
I believe I'm going to see Ashton tonight at the game. He was at media day and they've got their media passes. So I'm excited to see him.
All right. I'm sure he'll make a point to visit with you about that because they do really a good job to keep. We don't have a local paper here. Cleburne has the Times Review, but it doesn't come out every day. And we don't have a local paper, so they kind of do the best they can to replace that. Also, the Next Step people wanted me to tell you thank you for what you're doing for them, and we all appreciate that.
Of course.
Well, as they say, play ball. It's
all right.
The best two words you can. It's better than I do. Is play ball. So,
awesome.
All right. Okay. All right, Taylor. Thank you, Taylor, for your help here. I'd like to visit with you about maybe getting you back on another
Most
show
definitely. Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. Thank you, Taylor, and we'll see y'all Monday with Ms. Powell.